but kind of a second idea. And you were speaking earlier about your centre troubles, and I think the Knicks, Paul, and the Bucks don't have amazing centres. Now, the Western Conference Player of the Month was obviously Jokic. What if your team got Jokic? How far do you think it would kind of get them in the playoffs? And B, who would you trade to get Jokic?
To get Jokic?
I mean, you give up everything, wouldn't you?
Mate, I'd give my left leg to Jokic, man. I'd give up a nutsack, honestly. Yeah, I mean, having a passing big would be insane. Like we've seen, Nurkic can kind of handle the ball a little bit, make some plays out of the post, but having a centre up on that level would take us, I think we'd get to the finals. I mean, we pushed conference finals and then bumped into the Warriors 2 years ago.
So I think you definitely get to the finals. I think even the Knicks, would end on like the 4th seed if we got Jokic. And I say that with confidence. The Sonics thing, that was thingy, but I believe that, to be fair.
Yeah, I think Jokic is just an undeniable force in the league. I think he's so good on almost every end. You'd argue that his defense isn't amazing because he's not that agile, but at the same time, he's just got height, and you'd sort of leave out his defense in terms because of his offense. You know, you saw last night he dropped 50, and you know in the clutch he was getting threes off catch and shooting from the edge, and it's just like that's what you need. And to be able to have that on a team is just unbelievable.
But I don't know who I'd give to get Jokic, because I mean, in an ideal world, I'd give Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, Frank, and then 2 first-round picks. 1 this year, 1 next year. That was my
unprotected
trade. Yeah.
Unprotected pick.
Yeah, unprotected.
You'd have to throw Barrett in there, surely, wouldn't you?
Nah. I think Kevin Knox. I mean, initially I was going to go Mitchell Jokic straight up, but then I thought, I'll give him a bit of leeway.
Let him live.
I think it's difficult as well because I think with the Bucks, there's not a lot of salary abilities, just because, you know, we've given
Giannis
Supermax now. You've got a lot of players on a lot of money. So you've got Middleton earning about 30 million now. You get Drew as well, earning quite a lot. So it's kind of difficult to be able to fit Jokic in as well. I think he's on 30, 35 now. So to be able to get him in there and as well have a team surrounding them as well, I think it'd be difficult.
I think the pairing of Giannis and Jokic, though, would be pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
From an athleticism point as well.
Definitely. But I just think it'd also be the same sort of thing as what Brooklyn has at the moment, though. Like, you got some really good players, but it would just mean that the rest of the team's quite weak in terms of your bench as well.
But you say that, though, because I was looking at Denver, for example, and this is why I think the Knicks would be better than Denver if we had Jokic. It's because apart from Jamal Murray, the rest of their squad, they're fine, but they're not great players. But I think on the Knicks, for example, if you had Barrett, Quickly, Randall, I think that's a better supporting crew than what Denver have to offer.
Well, you could argue that. I still think Murray, Porter Jr. on his day.
Yeah, on his day, though.
Yeah, that's true. Gary Harris.
Yeah, what Denver does well is they've got depth. Like they've like in each position, their backup is way better than the Knicks' backup at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I saw Taj Gibson step on the court last night. And I was like,
he's terrible.
What is going on? He's like 103.
I'd honestly rather play than have Taj Gibson in.
Yeah.